So we got to talk about this one. Amazon warned earlier in this week that it would shut down its associates program in California if the state passed a proposed bill imposing new taxes on online retail sales. Essentially, that is exactly what then happened.
Yes.
Amazon has been battling with state legislatures over whether or not its transactions should include the same sales taxes required of brick-and-mortar retailers. They already, before California, had terminated affiliate programs in states like Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, and Texas due to the same issue. So what I think I've heard a lot of very strong opinions on both sides. Does California have a right to impose these sales taxes on Amazon, or is that overstepping their bounds, and is Amazon doing the right thing by sticking to its guns here?
Right. I would say this. Look, if you want to encourage an activity or encourage a new form of business, as we wanted to do in the 90s, the early 2000s, you try to give them some incentives. One way was by Congress saying we're not going to tax e-commerce. Now, as time has gone on...
That's the history of it.
That's the history.
Yes, we didn't know, just so people know the history of it. In the early days of the Internet, nobody knew where the transaction was occurring, right? Is it occurring on where the server's located, where the shipping comes from, where the company is headquartered, where it is delivered and the person signs for it, where the person's credit card is?
Yes.
Who should get it? If Amazon's in Seattle, the shipping company is in Texas, and the person lives in Virginia, where does the tax occur? Which state? And we said, hey, moratorium on taxes online.
Now, the reality, and that's true.
So you pay zero.
There are ways in many, many activities that we do in the states where we apportion taxes. The states have agreements, but the reality was we wanted to encourage this behavior. Now, traditionally how it's worked with taxation is if you have a physical presence in a state and you collect money in that state, you can get taxed, all right? Now, ultimately, let's face it, this is a pass-through tax. It's not Amazon that's paying it, it's the consumer who's paying it, right?
But Amazon obviously is really concerned.
Well, Amazon realizes that they've had anywhere from, in LA County, 9.25% advantage, because that's a sales tax, to 5%, depending on the state, advantage over the brick-and-mortar player. That's a huge, huge margin.
Except they have to deliver.
Yes, that's true. They have to deliver. But the reality is the consumer looks at it as they see a price and they add that shipping later in their heads.
Yes.
So, oh, that's a cheaper price. I think this was inevitable, by the way.
Of course.
It had to be, because there will come a day, maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe, where virtually 100% of commerce is done in some electronic fashion. Right. When that day comes, states aren't just going to say, oh, all retail commerce no longer taxed.
Now it matters. It's becoming material.
Yeah.
And states are screwed in terms of their budgets, so it's become doubly,
and that's the other reason.
It's become doubly material.